Okay, so we're here now at our first dance. Now, typically, I'll mention earlier in scheduling that you kind of got to figure out when this is going to happen and be kind of ready for this. I guess I've been saying that a lot. Be ready and be prepared for what's going to happen. The big thing with the last dance is just kind of find the place that you're going to get the best photo from. You also kind of have to be involved in the dance a little bit to see what type of dance or what type of couple they really are. Phil and Isabel were spinning, but they were spinning a little slower, so I was able to kind of set up and get a good spot for them. So you can see I'm on this side of the room. I felt like the lighting was a little bit better. I also like the background a lot better. And this, if I were to shoot from the other side, I would have seen just a darker void. And I really wanted to kind of get a brighter shot for them. You can tell that my ISO is up quite a bit. Again, this room is not the best for photographing, but you just make what you can in the position you're in. If you're a flash photographer, this would have been a great place to start using a flash, although it might have gotten to fight a little bit with the outdoors and it might have been a little washed out. It would have been a good place to do a more of a diffused flash look if that's what you're going for. So keep in mind when you're shooting The Last Dance, again, you want to do close and wide. Here I have a longer wide. We get the details of the dress. The wide shots are a little bit rough because you can tell it's kind of starting to bow just a little bit and they're kind of getting elongated. They look a little taller and a little stretched out. So that you don't want to necessarily be shooting like that all the time. But you can tell here, I tried to use a little bit more of the rule of thirds. They're on the right. We get people watching in the background, his family in the background, and we also just get guests taking pictures down here on their iPhones and stuff like that. That's really the kind of thing you're looking for. They had a kiss right here, got that real fast. Here's someone that actually caught someone else's flash, which is kind of rare, but this will happen. Someone else will be taking photos, typically a family member, and sometimes you will just happen to take a picture at the exact same time that they are, and they could be using flash. Chances are their photo came out very, very washed out. They're coming from the other direction and see all this heavy, heavy light is just blasting them from one side. It worked out really well for me, though. This is a happy, happy accident where I'm in the right position where we get a nice little background, just like the sun flares from our other portraits, and we're getting a kind of a fill from this side. And that's a light fill, not fill. So it's kind of helpful to see that. This isn't typically going to happen. This is also a really good example. If you're going to be using a remote flash, you can actually create this yourself. If you have a remote flash unit, you can put that on top of your camera. You can set up the flash way over here and hike it up so it's out of guest position, and you can fire it off. So you can actually recreate this look if you like. Again, I'm not much of a flash photographer. I don't like messing around with that stuff. It's another thing that you have to worry about. But it can be necessary, and if it's your style, it's a great technique to use, and it's not terribly difficult to achieve that. But again, that's close and far, so it's good to have your options out here. Again, after that, there are going to be father-daughter dances. There's going to be lots of people taking photos here. You see videographer, family photographer. So this must be the guy that kind of flashed my original photo. You can see here, though, we're covering the entire event. We're getting the family watching. We're getting the people covering. It's too bad this videographer is here because this is a great shot of Phil watching his new bride and her father dance. So that would have been a great shot too if we could get around the videographer and kind of get Phil. He's got this nice casual lean back look, as he is very casual and leaning back. Here he is with his mom. You can tell that they had a nice moment here. Wonderful time to catch this picture. We want to stay above a 30th of a second because that's usually when we get a little bit more motion, which is kind of a bummer because we got to hike up to 3200 you see here. Again, you can kind of see a little bit of the noise here. These are a little bit unedited, haven't been touched too much, but there are ways of getting rid of that. You can also see that we really caught them in like a really good moment. It was a really perfect time to take a picture. Again, same thing here. We put them on the rule of thirds. We had some color in here. We got some nice family watching. Really good shot, really good moment for them. Going back to here, you can tell that there's a joke or something like that. So you just got to be on your feet, be ready to take a photo. You can tell they're spinning around too. So I didn't really move locations for any of these, but it's nice because they are spinning. Usually in dances, you can count on them spinning. So if you're in a small space, you can tend to set up where you like the shot, test it, see where it's good, and they will spin for you, and just make sure you kind of get in that rotation. If you don't like the spot you're in and you're in a bigger venue, you can move a little bit more, and there's a little bit more allowance at a reception as opposed to a ceremony for you to get in the way of people. Again, here's a final kiss for the mom. I was a little too slow on that, had a little bit of a low shutter. You can see now we're at 1/30th and we've started to blur as opposed to the 1/60th that we did earlier. Without a little bit of blur. They were moving a little bit slower, so we're able to get away with the 1/25th. obviously Phil's pulling back or pulling forward a little too quick for us, so we got a little bit of a blur. Here, again, different situation. We're outdoors. We're completely outdoors. I'm down to an ISO of 400. I'm shooting a much faster, higher shutter. I do go back to my little negative space trick that I tend to do. I was also kind of going off these leading lines of the palm trees because they're doing more of a California sun wedding. Here, they did a random spin. I had much more space here to move around. You can tell I'm on an 80 to 400. I'm at 140 millimeters. Not in their face, but far enough away to get a nice, clean, beautiful shot. I'm a little bit of a higher shutter, so we got them frozen in time. And then you can see the father-daughter dance. I'm in the same place. Again, they're spinning. I've got 400 millimeter on now, not invading their space, not intruding on what they're doing, but I'm still achieving this look. Again, with the mother-son dance, got some family in the background, back at 400 millimeters. Sun's hitting them pretty harshly, but we're able to expose it decently because there's no real contrast. They just got blown out sun. So, that's really the takeaways, to just, again, be prepared. Know that you need to shoot the mother-son dance, the father-daughter dance, the first dance. Again, just like the cake cutting, know your couple, know how they're going to interact, how they're going to move. Are they going to be more aggressive? Try and get wide, close. Try and set your spot where you're going to be. Remember that the dances tend to be spinning around and that you'll always get another chance as they're coming around. Try to get close shots. Really, you just want to get the emotion and kind of get the coverage.